Love isn't always loud. Sometimes, it's found in the quiet gestures, the unspoken regrets, and the silent attempts to reconnect after everything seems lost. When a man pushes you away, whether out of fear, pride, confusion, or emotional immaturity, it doesn't always mean he stopped caring. In fact, more often than not, it's when he steps back that he begins to truly realize what he had and what he's losing. But here's the thing. Not all men know how to express that realization directly. Some don't have the words, some are too ashamed, and some are afraid of how you'll respond. Instead of confessing with grand apologies or begging for another chance, they speak through silence, through small actions that whisper, "I still want you." That's where the power of subtlety begins. You might notice him liking old photos, showing up where he knows you'll be, sending a random message about something insignificant. It might feel confusing at first. After all, if he really wants to come back, why doesn't he just say so? But emotions, especially male vulnerability, don't always take the direct route. Often, they hide behind timing, caution, and hope. This kind of quiet effort can be easily overlooked if you're not paying attention. And sometimes, it can be misread as coincidence or even manipulation. That's why understanding these silent signals is so important. They don't always come with clarity, but they do come with intention. The truth is, when a man is emotionally attached and trying to make his way back into your heart, he starts doing things that might seem small. But to him, they're everything. A cautious message, a familiar joke, a subtle compliment. It's his way of knocking on the door he once closed, hoping you'll open it, even if just a crack. This list isn't about giving someone a free pass for bad behavior. It's not about encouraging you to take someone back just because they are lingering in the background. Instead, it's about awareness. So you can recognize when someone is quietly trying to show up again and decide for yourself if it's worth letting them in. So, if you've ever found yourself wondering, is he trying to come back? Or am I just imagining it? This is for you. Here are 15 silent ways a man tries to win you back after pushing you away, even if he never says a single word. Watch closely. Sometimes, the heart speaks loudest in silence. 1. He starts liking your old photos or posts. When a man is trying to win you back after creating distance or pushing you away, one of the first and quietest things he may do is start liking your old photos or posts. It might seem small, even accidental, but it rarely is. Scrolling back through your profile and interacting with past moments is a silent gesture loaded with meaning. It shows he's not just casually checking in, he's revisiting memories. He's thinking about you, about who you were when you shared those things, and what you meant to him at that time. By liking old photos, he's sending a subtle signal that is still emotionally connected, even if he hasn't found the words to say it. It's his way of knocking gently on the door of your attention without seeming too forward or vulnerable. He's hoping you'll notice, hoping you'll pause and wonder, why is he looking at my photo from last year? That moment of curiosity he creates is intentional. It's his quiet way of stepping back into your world. He may avoid texting directly because he doesn't want to face rejection again or doesn't know if he's even welcome back. But social media gives him a silent window, a way to say, "I remember you. I still care." It's less about the post itself and more about what it represents, a breadcrumb trail back to you. And if you respond, even just by watching, it's a small opening he hopes to build on. This simple act becomes a soft apology, a subtle message, and a quiet plea for reconnecting on. 2. He shows up at places you frequent by coincidence. When a man starts appearing at places you often go, your favorite cafe, the gym you mentioned once, the bookstore near your office, and acts like it's a pure coincidence, it usually isn't. This is one of the most telling silent ways he tries to reconnect after pushing you away. He may not have the courage to directly reach out, especially if he knows he hurt you, but he still wants to be near you, to see you, to feel a little of what he's lost. So instead of texting or calling, he places himself in your world, quietly, passively, hoping you'll notice, hoping you'll speak first. Maybe he walks by without saying anything. Maybe he gives a half smile. Maybe he sits just close enough to be seen but not close enough to intrude. It's his way of staying in your orbit without pressuring you to engage. This type of presence is calculated but disguised as accidental. He's paying attention to your routines, your comfort zones, not to stalk or manipulate, but because he wants a chance, even a sliver, to feel your energy again. He's waiting for a moment of eye contact, a shared smile, or even a nod of recognition. That small spark can give him the confidence to try more. By showing up in your familiar spaces, he's saying, without words, I remember where you feel at home, and I want to be part of that again. It's not just a coincidence. It's a silent attempt to bridge the emotional gap he created. A quiet presence, placed carefully in your line of sight, hoping you'll look twice. 3. He texts you randomly about unrelated things. When a man texts you out of the blue about things that seem completely unrelated, like asking if you still have that recipe, mentioning a show you both used to watch, or even sending a meme with no real context, it's rarely just about the topic. These random messages are often a soft entry point, a way to reconnect without directly addressing the distance or the past. He's reaching out, but in a way that feels casual, safe, and non-threatening, because deep down, he's afraid of being ignored or rejected. Instead of saying, I miss you, he says, wasn't this your favorite movie? Instead of, I want to talk, he sends a link to a song or a headline you'd find interesting. These messages aren't random. They're carefully chosen fragments of familiarity, little hooks to test if you're still open, still paying attention, still willing to engage. They allow him to feel present in your life again, without the pressure of big emotions or difficult conversations. It's a way of breaking the silence with something neutral. If you respond, he takes it as a sign of hope. If you don't, he protects himself by pretending it wasn't a big deal. But the truth is, it always is. Every random text is layered with intention. He wants to hear your voice through your words, to reawaken the connection you once had, even if all he says is, hey, did you see this? This type of communication isn't just about the message. It's about the silence it interrupts, the emotional weight behind a light question. It's a silent way of saying, I'm still here. Do I still matter? 4. He reaches out on important dates, your birthday, anniversary, etc. When a man reaches out on important dates, like your birthday, the anniversary of when you first met, or even a random day that held meaning only between the two of you, it's never just about courtesy. These moments are emotionally charged, and by acknowledging them, he's silently telling you, I remember. I still care. Especially after creating distance or pushing you away, reaching out on those dates becomes his quiet way of keeping the emotional thread between you intact. He may send a simple message, happy birthday, or just thinking about that day we went to the beach. Remember. It may be short, but it speaks volumes. It shows he hasn't erased the memories, hasn't rewritten history to forget you. He knows those days matter to you, and by showing up, even digitally, he's trying to prove that you still matter to him too. These messages are never truly casual. He spent time thinking about whether he should reach out, what he should say, how you might respond. It's a vulnerable act hidden behind a polite greeting. And he chooses these meaningful dates because they give him a natural excuse, one that won't make him look desperate, but still allows him to express a lingering emotional connection. Sometimes, it's not just your birthday. It's the anniversary of a concert you went to together, or the day you got that job you were excited about. If he remembers and reaches out, that's not just memory, that's emotional presence. It's his silent way of saying, I haven't moved on as much as I pretend to. In those quiet digital nudges, he's offering you both a window to remember, to reconnect, to maybe begin again. 5. He brings up old inside jokes or memories. When a man starts bringing up old inside jokes or shared memories, especially after distance or conflict, he's not just reminiscing, he's reaching. These callbacks to private moments are loaded with intention. They're his way of stirring something warm and familiar between you, something only the two of you shared. It's a quiet, emotional anchor designed to remind you of laughter, closeness, and the bond that once felt unbreakable. He might mention the funny name you gave your favorite coffee shop, or joke about that rainy day when you both got soaked and laughed like kids. Maybe he sends a random message like, "Remember when we got lost on that road trip?" These aren't just casual throwbacks. They're soft emotional invitations. His saying, without saying it, "Those moments mattered to me. You mattered to me." These memories are safe ground, a place he knows you both felt good, connected, alive. By bringing them up, he's trying to recreate that spark, to show you that not everything is broken. He's hoping you'll laugh, or at least smile. And in that moment, the wall between you both might lower, even if just a little. It's also his subtle way of saying, "I haven't forgotten." And more than that, "I don't want you to forget either." It's an emotional breadcrumb, something to lead you back to him, not through pressure or apology, but through shared joy. In the quiet way he recalls those moments, he's reminding you, "We had something real. It's still in me. Is it still in you?" 6. He asks mutual friends about you subtly. When a man begins asking mutual friends about you, subtly, carefully, it's a quiet yet powerful sign he's still emotionally invested, even if he's too hesitant to approach you directly. After creating distance or causing hurt, he might not know if he's allowed back into your space. So instead of reaching out himself, he uses a softer route, the people you both know. He won't be obvious. He might casually ask, "How's she been?" Or, "Is she still working at that place?" He won't dig too deep, because he doesn't want it to seem like he's prying. But make no mistake, every small question is laced with care. It's his way of staying connected without crossing a line. This kind of curiosity isn't just about getting updates. It's about testing the waters. He's trying to gauge your mood, your life, your openness. He wants to know, are you happy without him? Do you still talk about him? Would it be okay if he reached out? He's not ready for direct vulnerability, so he leans on the comfort of mutual friends, hoping they'll mention something, anything, that gives him a window of hope. In many ways, this is his emotional radar. If your friends respond with warmth, he may feel encouraged. If they mention that you've moved on completely, he might back off, silently, respectfully. But regardless of the outcome, his interest in your world remains. This subtle questioning shows he hasn't detached as much as he might pretend. He still wants access to your world, even if only through echoes and secondhand stories. And deep down, he's hoping those echoes will guide him back to you, gently, without the risk of more pain. 7. He sends music, quotes, or memes that hold emotional meaning. When a man sends you music, quotes, or memes that carry emotional weight, especially after creating distance, it's his way of expressing what he can't quite say aloud. These aren't just random posts or funny forwards. They are carefully chosen fragments of feeling. Each lyric, quote, or image is a stand-in for something deeper, something he's feeling but isn't ready or brave enough to verbalize. He might send you a song about longing or second chances, not directly saying, "I miss you," but letting the melody and lyrics speak for him. A quote might be about timing, or regret, or finding your way back to someone. A meme might seem light-hearted, but beneath it is a shared joke, a memory, or a layer of emotion that only you would understand. These gestures are intentional. His reaching out through symbols, through emotion wrapped in art or humor, because it feels safer than saying the words outright. If you respond, it gives him hope. If you don't, he can retreat behind the pretense of it was just a song or just a meme. But he knows it wasn't, and he hopes you do too. In truth, he's sending you emotional breadcrumbs, hoping you'll follow the trail, feel the connection again, and maybe even reply with something of your own. Music especially holds power in this space. It says things we sometimes can't, and he knows that. So when he sends that one specific track or quote that feels too on point to be random, trust that it isn't. That's him speaking, just without saying a word. 8. He offers to help you with small tasks or favors. When a man offers to help you with small tasks or favors after distancing himself, it's rarely just about being nice. It's a quiet form of reconciliation, his way of saying, "I still want to be part of your life," without forcing a heavy emotional conversation. Whether it's offering to fix something, help you move, run an errand, or check on something for you, these gestures are more than practical. They're deeply emotional. is using actions instead of words. Because saying "I'm sorry," "I miss you," or "I want to come back" can feel risky. But showing up when you need something, that feels safe, useful, and meaningful. It allows him to be present in your world again, without demanding space. Every offer he makes is a silent attempt to rebuild trust and closeness. It's him saying, "You're still important to me," in the only way he knows how right now. These favors are often small, things he knows won't overwhelm you. But to him, they are big steps. They allow him to be near you without pressure, to remind you of the part he used to play in your life. And if you accept his help, even once, it gives him hope that perhaps the door isn't completely shut. Helping you is also a way for him to feel useful again, to feel needed, even if only in small ways. It's not about the task itself, but what it represents: connection, care, and an unspoken desire to fix what was broken. Is not just lending a hand, he's offering a piece of himself, quietly hoping you'll still accept it. 9. He watches your stories but doesn't initiate conversations. When a man consistently watches your stories but doesn't initiate conversations, it's one of the most passive yet telling signs that is still emotionally connected, and possibly trying to win you back. At first glance, it might seem meaningless. After all, watching a story only takes a second. But in reality, this silent behavior is often layered with intention, hesitation, and unspoken emotion. He's watching because he wants to stay close, to keep a window into your life, even if he no longer holds a place in it. Every view is a quiet act of presence. Is saying, "I'm still here," without pressing you or demanding attention. He may avoid messaging you because he's unsure if the timing is right or if he's even welcome anymore. But stories are a safer path. They allow him to observe from a distance, to feel connected without the risk of direct rejection. What's more telling is the consistency. If he's always one of the first to view your posts, or never misses a story, even the mundane ones, he's not just casually scrolling. He's paying attention. He wants to know what you're doing, how you're feeling, and maybe even if you're seeing someone new. His silence doesn't mean apathy. It often means he's wrestling with his emotions, unsure how to come back but unwilling to let go. This quiet digital presence can feel haunting, like a shadow that never steps into the light. But for him, it's his way of keeping a fragile thread intact, of saying, "I'm thinking of you," even if he doesn't have the courage to speak those words. Sometimes, silence isn't distance. It's fear wrapped in hope. 10. He suddenly starts working on himself. Fitness, career, image. When a man suddenly begins working on himself, hitting the gym, focusing on his career, updating his style or appearance, especially after pushing you away, it's often more than just self-improvement. It can be a silent message directed at you. "I'm changing. I'm becoming better. Maybe for me, but also, maybe for you." This shift is rarely random. If it follows a breakup, an argument, or growing distance, it's often fueled by reflection and regret. He might not say it out loud, but is replaying everything in his mind. The things he didn't do, the way he may have taken you for granted, the parts of himself he knows he needs to fix. And instead of coming to you with apologies or promises, he lets his actions speak. He starts showing up in new ways: cleaner look, sharper focus, renewed energy. He wants you to notice, to feel like you didn't walk away from someone who stayed the same. There's pride in his effort, but there's also a quiet vulnerability. He's hoping that when you see him now, you'll wonder, has he changed? This transformation is his version of a silent confession. It's him saying, "I heard you, even if I didn't say it then." And it's also a signal, one meant to catch your eye from across a room or timeline. Because even if he isn't speaking to you directly, part of him is hoping you're watching, hoping you see that he's becoming the man you once believed he could be, not just for himself, but in some way, to earn back the version of you he lost. 11. He posts things that seem indirectly aimed at you. When a man starts posting things that feel oddly specific, emotional quotes, nostalgic songs, throwback photos, or even vague captions that seem to echo past conversations, it's often not random. These posts are quiet signals, meant to be seen by one person, you. He may not tag you, message you, or even mention your name. But the timing, the tone, the content, it all carries the weight of someone trying to reach out without actually reaching. It's his way of testing the waters. He wants to express what he's feeling, but is not ready for direct vulnerability. So instead, he hides his emotions in plain sight. Maybe he posts a song you once shared, a quote about missing someone, a photo from a location only the two of you would associate with a special memory. He's hoping you'll notice and that you'll feel something too. These indirect messages allow him to maintain emotional distance while still holding on. If you react, comment, or even just view it, he may feel reassured. If you don't, he still gets to say what he wants, safely, publicly, but with quiet purpose. It's like his whispering across the void, hoping you're still listening. Social media becomes his stage, and you, his silent audience. He's not posting for likes. He's posting for one person's attention, one connection, 1 second of your time that might lead to something more. When words are too hard, too heavy, or too late, these digital breadcrumbs become his softest way of saying, "I'm still thinking of you." And he hopes, more than he'll ever admit, that you'll read between the lines. 12. He compliments you in unexpected or nostalgic ways. When a man compliments you in ways that feel unexpected or deeply nostalgic, especially after his created distance, it's rarely just a kind remark. It's a subtle attempt to reconnect through memory and emotion. He's not just saying you look nice. He's choosing words that reach back into shared history, that make you feel seen not just for how you are now, but for everything you've ever meant to him. He might say something like, "That color always looked good on you," or "You still have that same laugh." These aren't generic compliments. They are rooted in remembrance. He's pointing to the details only someone who truly paid attention would notice. It's his way of reminding you, "I haven't forgotten who you are, or what we had." These compliments often come out of nowhere. They are not in response to a big moment or dramatic transformation. They are soft, quiet, and deeply personal. And that's what makes them powerful. He may be too hesitant to say, "I miss you" or "I still love you," but through these kinds of words, he's offering pieces of his heart, without fully exposing it. Sometimes, the compliment isn't even about appearance. It might be, "You always knew how to make people feel at ease," or "I miss how you used to calm me down." These are emotional acknowledgments, subtle affirmations of your value in his life. By sharing them, he's trying to recreate the warmth that once existed between you, to remind you of who you were to him, and maybe who you still are. It's not just flattery. It's a quiet plea for closeness, wrapped in the safest words he can find. 13. He tries to protect you from afar, offering silent support. When a man tries to protect you from afar, offering silent support without drawing attention to himself, it's one of the most understated but powerful signs he still cares deeply. After pushing you away or creating emotional distance, he might not feel entitled to be close. He may believe he's lost the right to stand beside you, but that doesn't stop him from watching over you in quiet, often invisible ways. He might check in through mutual friends, just to ensure you're okay. If something stressful happens in your life, he might subtly step in to ease the burden, offering help through someone else, sending a recommendation, or handling something behind the scenes without claiming credit. He doesn't expect praise or recognition. His reward is simply knowing you're safe, supported, or even just smiling again. This kind of protection isn't loud or performative. It's thoughtful, intentional, and hidden. He may offer silent encouragement by boosting your work online, defending you when you're not around, or quietly showing up when things feel tough, without announcing himself. It's how he maintains connection without crossing boundaries. How he says, "I still care," even if he believes he can't be part of your life in the same way. What makes this gesture so meaningful is that it's not driven by ego or hope for attention. It's driven by love, the kind that persists, even when it's no longer front and center. In this form of distant loyalty, he becomes your silent anchor, a presence felt, even when not seen. And while he may never say it directly, every quiet act of protection is his way of whispering, "I'm still here, even if you don't see me." 14. He avoids talking about other women around you. When a man avoids talking about other women around you, especially after there's been distance or a breakup, it's a quiet but intentional gesture. He's not doing it out of politeness alone. He's doing it because his feelings for you haven't disappeared. This silence is layered with meaning. He could easily drop names, share updates, or mention someone new to provoke jealousy or show he's moved on. But he doesn't. Why? Because a part of him hasn't. And maybe doesn't want to. By avoiding those conversations, he's protecting whatever emotional thread still exists between you. He doesn't want to make you uncomfortable. He doesn't want you to feel like you've been replaced. And most of all, he doesn't want to sabotage even the faintest chance of reconnecting by implying his heart is elsewhere. It's also a sign of emotional restraint, of not using others to fill the space you once held. Even if he is talking to someone new, the fact that he won't bring it up around you tells you something. You still matter. Your feelings still matter. And is not ready to paint a new picture of his life if it risks pushing you further away. In some ways, this silence becomes louder than any confession. He's careful with his words, cautious with what he shares, because deep down, he's hoping the door between you hasn't closed completely. So rather than speak of new connections, he chooses to preserve the possibility of the old one, quietly, respectfully. In that silence, what he doesn't say becomes everything. It's his way of saying, I still see you. And no one else compares, not enough to talk about, not in front of you. 15. He waits for you to initiate, but stays close and available. When a man waits for you to initiate but stays close and available, it's one of the most vulnerable silent gestures he can offer after pushing you away. He may not know if he's welcome anymore. He may be carrying guilt, regret, or fear of rejection, so he doesn't make the first move. But he also doesn't disappear. He lingers, gently, on the edge of your world. He keeps watching your stories. He responds to your posts with quiet likes. He stays connected to your circle. Maybe he shows up at events where he knows you'll be, or continues to engage in shared spaces without making things awkward. It's subtle, but deliberate. He's near enough to be seen, far enough not to pressure. This isn't passivity, it's emotional caution. He wants to reconnect, but is afraid that a bold step might scare you away or reopen wounds. So he hopes, silently, that you'll take the first step. That maybe you'll send a message, react to a post, say hello. And if you do, he's already emotionally prepared. He's been waiting. What makes this so telling is the balance. He's not chasing, but he's also not withdrawing. He's creating emotional space, waiting with quiet hope that you'll enter it. It's his way of saying, I still care, but I don't want to hurt you again. His presence becomes an open door, steady, patient, undemanding. In that waiting, you'll see how deeply he's holding on. He's not looking for games or grand gestures. He's just staying present, hoping your heart hasn't shut him out completely. His silence doesn't mean he's given up. It means he's giving you the power to decide if he still belongs.